Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today is my first Christmas DIY of 2020. I know, I'm a little bit later this year I think. Usually I'm like right on into it in like October, but you know, there's been a lot going on this year, hasn't there? So today's Christmas DIY isn't the most Christmassy when you look at it, but it is something that I've noticed in loads of my favourite stores where they sell Christmas decorations. I've noticed them online, on Pinterest a lot, and that is the velvet mushroom. So I'm a huge fan of woodland style, Scandi style, the natural in like luxurious fabrics, and I think that these are really cool. They can be made in any sorts of colorways. They can be bright, they can be traditional reds, they can be greys like I have done here today. This is how mine have turned out. I absolutely love them. I've added glass beads on there, glitter on there. You can use whatever you have to decorate these. I think it's going to be super fun at keeping us all busy here in England in lockdown 2.0 or just anywhere in the world. These are really easy to create. I've made them so absolutely anyone can kind of make them, whether you have a sewing machine or anything like that. And yeah, I think they're just going to be a really fun, cute project. So I'm just going to get straight on into the DIY of the velvet mushrooms. So to begin with, you're going to need some cardboard. I'm just using some of this like packaging, which was from Bubble Tea Cosmetics. They send me out like a shower gel subscription as like a PR gift every month. So I seem to have a lot of these little boxes hanging around, and I thought, what better way to reuse them than to put them in this ornament. So what you'll need is 2 circles of cardboard. You want to make sure that one's slightly bigger than the other. If you're doing different size ornaments, of course, you can make these however big or however small you want. One of mine was about 3 inches and one of mine was about 2. So I used fabric samples for this because I just had them kicking around from when I ordered my sofa. You want to use any sort of fabric that you have, so you can use old jumpers, old clothing, old tea towels, anything that you like the look of the fabric, just use that. Honestly, you don't have to go out and buy specialist fabric unless you want to, of course. But yeah, I'm just using these velvet fabric samples that I absolutely loved, but in all honesty with my dog it wasn't going to be that practical, but I was just going for the colour match. So what you want to do is use some hot glue and just hot glue around the edge of the cardboard circles, and then you want to stick down, gathering up the edges of the squares of the fabric. I found that using them in squares was just as simple as doing it in circles before, so I just cut out a square and pretty much just go with it, just, you know, folding it over, just scrunching it up, sticking it down all the way around. So I did this until I had around about 1 inch left, and then I took some just toy stuffing, or you can use pillow stuffing, just, you know, polyfill stuffing, and you want to stuff inside to make your mushroom more 3D and rounded in the circle. Again, it's down to you how much you want to use, but I just did mine until I could not physically fit any more in there because I cut my square a little bit too small, because obviously I was limited with those fabric samples that I was using. So then you just want to seal it up by adding on some extra glue and then just folding that edge over. Mine was a little bit tricky because I did not leave myself enough gap, but I got there in the end. So to tie all these rough looking bits in, you'll want to use another piece of fabric, and you'll want to just glue and fold over the edge as you go. I found this to be much simpler than making a circle, and because my mushroom wasn't obviously circle and I wanted it to be really neat, so I went bit by bit, just tucking the fabric in to meet that like kind of squiggly wiggly edge, and I just used my hot glue in there just to stick it down, and then I just pressed it all together until it had bonded. I just kept doing this over and over until I was right at the end and all of the bottom of the mushroom is all encased in, and it looked a lot neater. Have your mushroom top, you'll then be able to decorate it in any which way you please. So I found this like half a pack of glass beads that I've had in my collection for absolute years now. I think I want to say I've had these for at least like 7-8 years, and I just haven't really needed them. I used them originally for a nutcracker that I made, and I ended up putting like glass bead decorations on them, and I think they came from the range, but I know a lot of like small craft stores and stuff like that, especially online, you can get hold of these little packets. So I used a fabric glue to begin with. As you can see, it's quite like gelified. I don't know what's happened to this, but it's called Fabri-Tac is the glue, and it just hasn't lasted well at all, so I tried to use what I could. It is a very good fabric glue, just it dries really like thick, and now I've had this like glue container open for a couple months, it just hasn't aged well, so yeah, If you want to, you can add glitter as well. As you can see here, I'm adding on PVA glue, just brushing it on with a brush just in the areas that I really wanted some more condensed glitter, and then I just sprinkled away straight out the packet on there to give it a nice light dusting. I also decided to add more and just played around with the layers of glue and stuff like that. So I actually ended up putting another layer of beads on, and then another layer of glue and another layer of glitter, so that they all stuck to the beads, and it was just nice glittery kind of mess. It's a nice glittery glass beaded mess basically on top of this little mushroom. So at the start of the video, I obviously cut out 2 circles, and for the second mushroom I just made that in the exact same way, glued around the edges, stuffed in the opening, glued those last bits together, realised I cut my fabric a little too small, then I glued the fabric onto the bottom, encasing all of those raw edges. However, when it came to the beads, I took a different tactic. So I actually used super glue on this. I did some little dots and then like super glued the beads to the velvet, just using a bamboo skewer, and honestly this worked out really well. The super glue bonded them really quickly, and now I made this about a couple weeks ago and I've probably lost about 1 bead, so you want to make sure that you've got, you know, good amount of glue on there and they'll be good to go. If you want, you can sew these, but obviously I'm making a no sew, and I think for, you know, time reasons, I think this just works just as well. And when you go to the stores, they're usually glued on anyway. They don't tell you this, but most of Christmas decorations are just glued together, so yeah, just glue it, it's fine. But super glue did work really well on the velvet, like bonding the velvet and the glass beads together as opposed to the fabric glue. I did the same thing on this one using the PVA with a little paintbrush, just giving it a really light coat, and then I made a huge mistake by adding so much glitter. If you do this, you just want to tap off any excess. If you find you still have way too much, just use like a makeup brush or something like that and just dust it off, dust it in until you're happy with the amount. As you can see here, I'm just using an old Real Techniques brush to blend that in. So around the edges, mine still looked a little bit rough. I wasn't 100% happy with them. I was going to add some tulle, but I figured actually I'm just going to go with it for the glitter. I never usually am a glitter fan, but this year I'm all for it. So I just added PVA glue all along that edge where the kind of like nice underneath fabric met the velvet, and I just tapped on loads of like clear glitter with a little bit of gold mixed in just to match this piece, and I think that this blended it really well and added a nice little frosty touch to the piece as well. So once the top of your toadstools are then done, you'll need to make the obviously like little stem part of it. So you'll want to make this like a little bit irregular, nothing too neat, and you'll want to make it so it looks like it's going to be way too big for your mushroom, basically. So I made mine so it looked like about twice as thick as I wanted, because once it goes 3D and rounded, you're going to lose some of that to the sides. So you just want to make it about twice as wide as you think you need it. What I did was I drew around using a pen, and then I just cut that piece out and stuck it down onto the same fabric right sides together, then cut off all the excess around that shape and turned it right sides way round. This was a little bit fiddly, but with a pencil and some tweezers to hand I was able to, you know, get it the right way. I then stuffed this using little bits of stuffing at a time, using a paintbrush to like post it down inside of the stem, I don't know. And then I just started gluing the edges down. So I made sure to like fold one bit in, put another bit of glue, fold another bit, put another bit of glue until I had a really flat base. I really made sure to make that nice and flat so that when I added the like mushroom top on, I was able to just glue and stick the top right on there. As you can see here, just blends together perfectly, and I basically just did the same on each mushroom, and I just decided whatever kind of stalk bit suited each mushroom, because obviously had the 2 choices. To make these into hanging decorations, I actually used some of this metallic thread that I picked up from the charity shop last year. To be honest, it was only like £3 for all of these threads, which I thought was an absolute steal, and they've come in so handy. So I just used a silver thread, posted it through one of the beads and tied a knot at the end, and then I took some super glue again, just super glued onto the bead itself, and then super glued that onto the decoration so that I didn't have to, you know, sew it on or make any adjustments. Once that was done, my ornament was then complete. So this is how my 2 mushrooms have turned out. I'm in love with them. I've obviously made them different shapes and sizes and in different colours as well. I did use like sofa sample fabrics for these. They're coming in so handy, let me tell you. Obviously I got this brand new sofa as well as this one a few months ago now. I got it from Next. So happy with my purchase. They're going on strong still. They are so comfortable and I'm really, really happy. It took me ages to pick them, but here we are. I'm going to stop talking about sofas because I got really into that before, didn't I? But yeah, really happy with the 2 little mushrooms. I think they're going to look great on my Christmas tree. Cannot wait to get one up. I'm actually going to be putting my tree over there. So then when I film my videos here, I'm going to have a tree in my videos for once. I usually put them in the window where you're sat right now, but the tree's going back there. I think that these mushrooms will be really great as ornaments on their own, like I have done, but I also think that they would look really cute with loads of them in a garland. So if you've got a bit of extra time in your hands and a whole load of fabric scraps, this DIY will be perfect for you. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today. I do have, shall I give you the sneak peek? Okay. I will have a Poundland haul coming very soon because I want to do a Poundland DIY today, like film it right now. And I thought I would haul all the craft supplies and everything like that first because I got a few other bits that I want to show as well. So yeah, a Poundland DIY will be coming with you in the next week. Poundland haul. We've got another DIY coming, another come shop with me, like what's in Wednesday. Oh my goodness, it's going on. I'm having so much fun in the festive mood. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today. I will see you very soon for those videos. And yeah, I'll see you then. Bye. I hope I haven't got lipstick on my teeth. Can't actually see through my viewfinder. I need like binoculars, this camera's so far away. I'm using a 50mm lens and golly, I honestly, all I can see is the outline of my hair. Oh, bye bye.